Hello, hello, hello. I have a few minutes right now, so I figured I would jump on Facebook Live. I'm hoping to get out and walk a little bit today. Haven't done so yet. For all you people that are self-employed, you know today's the day in Connecticut that you're supposedly available to or can apply for unemployment. So we'll see how that goes. I applied. We'll see if it worked. I can't tell because some of the questions had nothing to do with self-employment. They were still talking about employees. I'm like, okay, I thought this was supposed to switch, but we'll see. We'll see if it worked. So if you're in Connecticut and you're like me, self-employed or a 1099 or any of that, apparently their system is now designed to allow us to apply for some benefits. As you know, I am completely out of business at the moment with no foreseeable date in the future to have holistic events. So I'm working with the best information I have at the moment, and we'll see what happens. So today's habit for happiness is, ironically, it is making the best of now, making the best of right now. So making the best of right now for me meant taking my time to get all my ducks in a row with applying for benefits, since I have had no income yet, and hopefully that all works out well. Making the most of now also means being present to yesterday I had a little meltdown because I'm really upset that I can't do what I love doing right now. I can't plan an event. I can't see when somebody's going to be able to put something together for future events. So, and I have to live in the now. I have to live in the not knowing. Most days I'm pretty good with that, but I have my moments where it just like hits me and just rolls over me, just like grief does. That kind of stuff happens too. I guess it's in a way a lot of a grieving process as well. And there's a grieving process if you lose a business. There's a grieving process if you lose a family member, a spouse, a child, an adult, a parent. There's a grieving process to a lot of things in life, and grief is a big part of life. And I think I've talked about this before, that many times people have a really hard time with grief on many levels, and when it's unaddressed, it comes out sideways in other things that happen, and you end up being under tension or under stress or with a lot of anxieties or maybe fears about things in the future, and that's far from living in the now, isn't it? So many times it's because of projecting. That's one of the things I think about, is to not project and to stay in the now. Like, okay, so for today, I'm recognizing the fact that it's upsetting to me on some level to not be able to do what I like to do and what I love to do and what I've found passion doing. So I'm just gonna have to be with that today, and sometimes I just have to feel the sadness or cry or scream or whatever I need to do. So it's kind of interesting how this has affected many, many people on many, many levels. Some are working their arses off because of it, and others can't go to work at all. So you've got both extremes in this. It's very ironic when you think about it. We've got people that have to go to work every day, and people who are finding new and creative ways to do their work every day, and I'm sure I will too at some point. And I am gonna be doing some of the live events with my vendors, which I'm in the process of setting up. So probably next week we'll have the first one, and we'll do 4 in 1 hour. is what I'm thinking about right now, and we'll figure out, what that's going to look like, and we'll let you know ahead of time. So, you too, Janine, right? It's kind of crazy, and but making the best of now means, I guess I'm going to do exactly what I can do today. So I'm helping out. I brought some stuff to my daughter's house. She needed a little toy house that I had at my yard, and I brought it to her yard. So the baby has something to play with over there. And I'm also going to go visit my mom today, and I'm sure she's having a fun day because she has the 4-year-old, and that's always fun for her. She just plays. She's keeping an eye on him most of the time, although he runs pretty fast, so sometimes you got to chase him. And I'm going to continue working on my books, as I've had to put in a bunch of loans, which means I had to update all my QuickBooks and all that jazz. And some of it's done, not all of it. So working on that process, but that's an ongoing thing. But I can only do so much at one time before my brain wants to fry. So I think that's not something I look forward to doing, I can tell you that. But, you do what you can, and then you leave the rest for the next day, or whenever the next time is. Yeah. So there is something to that of just, doing the best you can with what's going on right now. The habits for happiness, when I look at the whole list, because I look at the whole list every day, and then I read the one that's for today, and I do a little thought process on it, or meditation, whatever you want to call it. And then when I jump on Facebook Live, other thoughts come to me as I'm talking. So it's kind of interesting how that process works for me, anyway. But doing the best I can means a lot about staying present to myself each day, going through all the feelings of sadness, and knowing that the unknown is unknown anyways. It just was my perception prior to this that everything would be the same. And it's really ironic. I had a very interesting message this morning as I woke up. I was in a dream, and I woke up out of the dream, and the song that kept playing was, and some of you that are old enough will recognize it, it's the end of the world as we know it. It's the end of the world as we know it. And that just kept playing as I was laying in bed this morning. I was like, yeah, it really is. How ironic. Like, what a cool message, though. It is the end of the world as we know it. We knew it, I should say. It has totally changed for so many people in so many different ways, and quite honestly, I'm sure there's going to be so much positive coming out of this. I mean, for how many years now people have been talking about our dependence on other countries, China in particular, but not just that. We need to have more stuff brought into this country in terms of manufacturing, brought back. We were, New Britain was the, what was it called? I'm trying to remember for Stanley Works, the hardware capital of the world at one time. The hardware city capital of the world. And we still call it the hardware city, in New Britain. But when you think about that, pretty impressive. And there were so many machine shops and manufacturing places all over this United States, and they slowly got farmed out to other places. And what was the bottom line was usually driven by money. Hardware city, girl. I still live in the hardware city. I love New Britain. And it's sad because I know I'm not alone when I've talked to other people. Matter of fact, I just had this conversation with somebody yesterday, and they're like, they've been a big proponent for many years of just not shopping in places like Walmart, that they're just price driven. And the cheapest disposable stuff you can put in that building is what they're selling. And I always thought to myself, how could it be cheaper to make it there and bring it over in a big freight liner, freight ship, and bring it to a store and truck it across the country and still sell it for that cheap. Like, it's just unimaginable to me. like how little could it cost them to be making it? Like, it just seems so incredible to think that. Like, I don't know if you ever think about that when you buy something, but I do. Anyways, I've probably been in a Walmart, literally, and I'm going to pick on Walmart today, but maybe 4 or 5 times in my whole life, literally. And once or twice might have been just to pick up my mother's prescriptions. And come to find out, most of that stuff is in China too, made in China. I'm like, oh my God, we're just so beholden to other manufacturers and outside sourcing that it's scary, because I don't think that's a safe place, biologically or financially to be. So hopefully that will change, and hopefully that's my little rant for the day about that. That will shift. We'll bring more things back here, and people will be more concerned about having the things here that make sense for us to in this country, anyways, and in their own countries. Let's make this not about just the United States. How about all the countries in the world? Being a little bit more self-sustaining and self-sufficient. So I think about that, and when I think about the whole process of always needing to be the cheapest, or the process of manufacturing here in this country, we do have some of the best tool and die makers. We have some of the best technology, and so why not bring some of this to where it's the Made in USA really makes a big difference for everybody nowadays. So hopefully that's something that will go down further and kind of proliferate throughout the United States again. So making the best of what I can do right now is what I'm doing, and spend some time with my family again today. My mom's here too. She's doing well for 85 years old, and I'm so happy that everybody right now is happy and healthy. I think I just did mention that my son-in-law and the father of my 4-year-old granddaughter, the one who my daughter passed, has the corona. His mother has it. They are dealing with it at home, and I haven't heard back from him today. Every day I check in with him and text and stuff, and he seems to be a little bit better on the mend. He says he's super tired, which I hear is one of the worst. Hey, Michelle. One of the worst parts of this is, how do you take care of a 4-year-old who's bouncing off the walls and you need to sleep, So unfortunately, I can't help them. They're in another household, and I can just keep them in prayer, and that's what I have been doing. So with that, I want to say that although the sun is not showing its little face at the moment because it's a overcast day here in Connecticut, the sun is always shining. It's always got your back, just like your creator and the reason you're still here. So hopefully you have a great day today, and we'll catch up with another Habit for Happiness tomorrow at some point. And I hope you have a really spectacular afternoon and evening. Talk to you guys all later. Signing off for now. Bye-bye.